So we have the story of the spring onion, a beautiful one, and Dostoevsky did not invent the story, but it fits perfectly now after the story with Grushenka and Alyosha, and it also fits perfectly with what Dostoevsky generally says in his work. Please read the note that you have at the end of the book because it gives you a slight different story how it was you know how the fable was forgive me, I just lost the power here. How the fable was written in one of the folk collections from Russian stories, and Dostoevsky says that he heard it from a woman, and I've read actually the story in other versions as well, and in one other version written by Father Arsenia Boca, that's a Romanian priest. He was saying that the woman threw an onion at someone, and that version is interesting as well because it shows that sometimes, regardless of the of why we want to do certain things, if I throw an onion to someone, doesn't mean that I'm such a wonderful soul and I give the onion to him or to her, but rather that I just despise it. But nevertheless, it's a good deed after all, and we can make out of that good deal something more important, and it's connected with the idea of responsibility we have for the others and how each of our actions influence other people. Anyway, coming back to the story. So what the story is that there is a woman burning in hell or something like that, right? She's in the burning lake of fire in hell, and she prays to her guardian angel to be taken out. And the guardian angel is thinking about what kind of good deed did she do in her life, and she only found one moment. Man, this noise is killing me. So he only found one moment in which the woman gave a spring onion to someone else. The moment is important. Why? Because at that moment she connected with another person. She gave something. She gave something from herself. So it is a denying of self that Dostoevsky often discusses here. And of course, God tells him, "Well, take the onion and help the woman with the onion to come out of the lake of fire." And he goes there, and the woman grabs the onion and she tries to come out. And then she is coming out of the lake. But at that moment, other people come and grab her so they can come out as well. And the onion seems to hold it, to hold all of them. But what happens is that she says, "It's my onion, it's my onion, it's my onion, not yours," right? It's on page 443. And at that moment, the onion snaps. Because, why? Well, even at that moment, she does not realize that she cannot live by herself. She does not realize that genuine life, true life, is giving yourself to others, helping others, living in connection. And even if she is taken out of the lake of fire, she is actually in hell all the moments of her life. Why? Well, you remember we said once that Dostoevsky is influenced by the tradition coming from Gregory of Nyssa and from others, of course, in the same tradition. And you probably remember that Gregory of Nyssa was saying in one place that hell is not a place, but rather is being somehow utterly alone and not being able to love. Well, this woman is not able to love. Alyosha, when he came to Grushenka, was not able to love because he was focused on justice. Um, and I'm we all the time focused. I mean, do not understand me wrongly. I'm not saying that justice is wrong. Not at all. We work in societies. We live in societies where without justice, it would be a havoc. It would be disaster. We would not necessarily know where to go. So I'm not. This is not against justice. It's about love that goes beyond justice. That is the attitude of my soul, of my being, that goes really beyond justice. I also know that many times, many times, and I am certainly one who thinks of that many times, unfortunately for me. But we think we are entitled of certain things. We think that other people may harm us. and it is just for us to be upset. Um, Alyosha thinks it's just for him to be upset because those around the monastery no longer have consideration and veneration for Father Zosima. So it is just, and he feels completely entitled for that justice. But at that moment, he loses love, and the one who brings back love to him is the connection that he has with Grushenka. Okay, so if you go back to, I made a long parenthesis, forgive me for that, but if you go back to the idea that hell is being utterly alone and being in the impossibility to love, what Grushenka gives Alyosha is the gift of love, with the possibility for him to love her again, not to love her as a woman or as the promise of a prostitute, because he goes to her because he has this she has this fame about her, that she is not necessarily someone. She's a very easy person to get, or yeah, something like that, right? I even don't know how to speak about that. Anyway, but so for him, he reconnects with the world because he can he is able again to love. Well, the woman in the lake of fire was not able to love at all. He was my onion. Those things are mine. They belong to me. I cannot share them. I cannot live with other human beings because they are me. And I think we've discussed that before, but since I don't remember exactly, I will say it again if I said it before. Suppose you and I are bad human beings. We all do bad things, and suppose we work in this Christian framework that Dostoevsky works in, and we would say that we are, both of us, all of us, going into the river of fire. And in principle, it's painful, right? Because it's not a state in which we would be happy, because that's why we want to get out of it. So, and you want to take care of my wounds. Would we be still in hell when someone helps me, uh, takes care of my wounds, takes care of my problem, of my pains? At that moment, hell disappears and is transformed itself in heaven. And you remember hell being a state of mind and heaven being a state of mind too. So hell is the reality of the impossibility of love, or the impossibility of having love for another being, for truly being connected with another human being, the lack of personal relationship between two human beings, and it's described so beautifully in this Spring Onion story. My inability to put the other before me leads me into a state of hell. My inability to love leads me there as well. And for Dostoevsky, being in hell, so being in the eternal damnation, is having lost that ability completely. Um, and the story comes immediately after the connection between Alyosha and Grushenka, precisely because Grushenka gave Alyosha an onion. And the moment she gave him an onion, he wanted to bring everyone else with him, including Grushenka and including Rakitin.